Now we will look at objects and classes in Swift. Use class keyword followed by the class's name to create a class. A property declaration in a class is written the same way as a constant or variable declaration, except that it is in the context of a class. Likewise, method and function declarations are written the same way. On line 5, we are creating a class shape, starting with keyword class, followed by the name of the class. On line 6, we are declaring a property of the class, which is similar to variable declaration we have seen before. On line 7, we are declaring a method in the class, which is same as the function declaration. Create an instance of a class by putting parentheses after the class name. Use dot syntax to access the properties and methods of the instance. On line 17, we are creating an instance of a class shape by putting parentheses after the class name. The instance is being assigned to variable shape. On line 18, we are accessing the property number of sides of the instance and assigning it a value 7. On line 19, we are creating another variable shape description, which will be assigned a value of string based on a call to simple description of the shape instance. Notice the use of dot syntax on line 18 and line 19 to access the property and method of the class. We use the init keyword to create an initializer for the class, and we can write the initialization code within the body of init section. On line 28, self.name refers to the name property declared on line 25, and the name on the right hand side refers to the name argument passed to the initializer. The arguments to the initializer are passed like a function call when you create an instance of the class. Every property needs a value assigned, either in its declaration or in the initializer. Here in this class name shape, we have got two properties, number of sides and name. Number of sides has been given a value of 0 at the time of declaration, and name property is being assigned a value in its initializer. Use dinit to create a deinitializer if you need to perform some cleanup before the object is deallocated. Subclasses include their superclass name after their class name, separated by a colon. There is no requirement for class to subclass any standard root class, so you can include or omit a superclass as needed. Above, we created a class without a superclass, and below on line 44, we are creating a class square with its superclass as named shape. Methods on a subclass that override the superclass's implementation are marked with override. Overriding a method by accident without override is detected by the compiler as an error. The compiler also detects methods with override that don't actually override any method in the superclass. Here in the subclass square, we are overriding the method simple description on line 57 by specifying the override keyword before the method declaration. And if we create an override method in subclass which does not have a corresponding method in the superclass, the compiler will give us an error. Also, if we forget to write the override keyword while overriding a method or a function, compiler will give us an error in that case too. In addition to simple properties that are stored, properties can have a getter and a setter. On line 79, we have a property parameter with a getter block and a setter block. On line 94, we are setting a value of 9.9 to parameter. this value will be implicitly made available in the setup block as new value. If we wish to give a different label to the past value, we can specify the same in parentheses after the set keyword. Notice that the initializer for the equilateral triangle class has 3 different steps. First, setting the value of properties that the subclass declares. Second, calling the superclass's initializer. Third, changing the value of properties defined by the superclass. Any additional setup work that uses methods, getters or setters can also be done at this point. Here we can see that the first thing we did here was to initialize the properties of the class equilateral triangle. Next we called the initializer of the superclass, and then we set the value for the property in superclass. If you don't need to compute the property but still need to provide code that is run before and after setting a new value, use will set and did set. The code you provide is run anytime the value changes outside of an initializer. For example, the class below ensures that the side length of its triangle is always the same as the side length of its square. Here on line 111, we have a will set block for the property triangle that will be called before setting a value for property triangle. We could also have a did set block if required, and the code in that block will be called after setting the value for triangle. The will set and did set will not be called when the value is set within the initializer of a class. On line 125, we are creating an instance of triangle and square class and assigning it to triangle and square variable. The triangle and square class has an initializer that takes size and name arguments. When we pass the size argument to the initializer, we are creating an instance of square class and assigning it to square property within the class. Since this assignment is happening inside the initializer, the will set block of code will not be called. Similarly, when we are setting the value of triangle in initializer, its corresponding will set will not be called. On line 126 and 127, we can see that the value of side length for both triangle and square are same, since they were initialized using the size argument passed to the initializer. On line 128, we are changing the value of property square with a new instance of square. This will set block will be invoked, which will change the side length of triangle to the side length of new value. Here new value is the instance of square created on line 128. On line 129, we can see that the side length value of triangle is also now 50. When working with optional values, you can write question mark before operations like methods, properties, and subscripting. If the value before the question mark is nil, everything after the question mark is ignored and the value of the whole expression is nil. Otherwise, the optional value is unwrapped and everything after the question mark acts on the unwrapped value. In both cases, the value of the whole expression is an optional value. On line 133, we are creating a constant optional square, which is of type optional square, and assigning it an instance of square. On line 134, we are referring to the property of the instance optional square, and since optional square is of optional type, we can refer to its property by using question mark before the dot. If the value of optional square was nil, then a nil value is returned wrapped in an optional of type double. Since side length is of type double, If the value of optional square is not nil, then this optional is unwrapped and the value of side length is returned as of type optional double.